Hello, everybody. Come on in, take a seat. Hoping everybody's doing good tonight. I know that K9 contacted me and said she won't be in tonight. Her grandson was coming over, so I told her enjoy her time with her grandson, right? Hello, Jackie O. It's good to see you. That's awesome. I'm glad you're not in the bushes. Love seeing your comments. I can't see your face, but we can see your comments. I love that. uh, so tonight, just wanted to touch base on a few things. There's really not a whole lot new as far as Sebastian Rogers, right? Um, I mean, just same old, right? And even everybody else is talking about some different things that are coming up. Those of you who know about the Michael Monkey Vaughn case, looks like there's um, going to be some charges pretty soon in that case, which is overdue, right? Very much overdue. Um, that poor little boy. Um, I hope he's brought home. I hope that these charges um, result in him coming home to his mama. And the bad thing is Brandy, his mom, is very ill. I guess she's going to need a liver transplant here pretty quick, and I'm that's horrible, guys. And if any of you saw the video of her, or if you haven't seen it, let me know. I'll be happy to play it here. She looks very ill, and that breaks my heart. It's bad enough that she's lost her little boy, who would now be 8 years old, but now she's so sick. So I'm really hoping and praying that um, they bring him home. You know, it doesn't sound good as far as him being alive, um, which is really, really sad. But, you know, this family deserves to be able to lay him to rest if that's the case. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he's alive, but it sure doesn't feel like that in this case, right? Um, but he's so cute, and this mother has been out there constantly. She's been fighting for justice for a long time. I have to say that I was really surprised that she came out before the police said anything about these charges coming soon. Yeah, I pray she comes through her illness as well. But the video that she put out yesterday, I was surprised that she came out. I mean, that's almost like giving them a heads up, right? Especially the one guy, Brandon, I think that was his name. So, yeah. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I know that one of the channels is putting on a food drive for the family and different things, So, but if you feel led to give to that, awesome. Um, but I know, prayers are really what's going to help, right? The next case that I really wanted to talk about, we actually had I had actually been asked in one of my chats to look into it, um, by one of our subscribers. And I looked into it and I was horrified. I mean, I sh she had kinda talked a little bit about things, right? But, um, I was just when I looked it up and saw what had happened to her little girl, it broke my heart, guys. I I hate this stuff, right? I just hate that, um, people have to go through this kinda thing. Hello, Brenda Jo, good to see you. So, um, I was hoping she would, come into chat last night, and she didn't. I hope she comes tonight, because I wanna do justice for her little girl, okay? So I'm gonna start by talking I'm gonna show Nicole Van Noty was a little girl who was brutally red-rummed by, a teenage boy, 16 years old. His name was Jason Simons, okay? I'm gonna share my screen. We'll look at um, the original thing here. This was the mother. This right here was the young man, and he was convicted. Battle Creek shuddered Wednesday after a missing 5-year-old girl who loved dogs and peppermint candy was found AR'd and red-rummed. Within hours, a 16-year-old boy who knew the child was charged with the crime. The community responded with outrage and disbelief. On Tuesday, Nicole Marie Van Noty had bounced off the bus after spending the morning at her Head Start preschool. Later that afternoon, still wearing her pink dress and pink socks, the girl was lured into an abandoned house about 100 yards from her own home, AR'd and killed and buried nearby in a shallow grave, investigators believe. And within hours after police found the body, Jason Simons, who played church basketball and attended Sunday school, was dressed in an orange jail jumpsuit, handcuffed and shackled, and charged with the brutal attack on the girl. It is one of the most gruesome youth murders I can remember, said Commander Eric Bush of the Battle Creek Police Department. You always remember the little ones. They're so defenseless and innocent. Nicole's disappearance and death sickened the Battle Creek community, especially those who lived in her neighborhood. There was more, but it happened so long ago, guys, that trying to see what the date was on this. Well, it was in 1994 that this happened. August 28th, 1994. Right up there. So horrendous, right? And this, you know, one of our own here in our chat. I don't think she's here tonight, but um I it's hard enough, to go through this and watch like what Seth's going through, right? But it's horrendous to actually, feel someone's pain when they're in our chat room, right? And they've been dealing with this for years. It doesn't end for them, guys. Why? Because when a child is convicted, to life imprisonment, down the road they look at it again. Because I mean, it's costing the state money, right, to keep these people in jail. So they look at it after a while. And that's what they did in this case. And so let me see here. So I'm going to share my screen and show you another. And the mom has to go through this every time, guys. This is horrific, right? So this is the guy now. You'll see that okay? That's him now. And it says, who lured 5-year-old girl into abandoned basement yard and beat her to death with a wired-covered doll when he was a teenager and he was denied his chance at parole. He was trying to say that he was rehabilitated. A Michigan man who did this tragedy will remain in prison for the rest of his life after unsuccessfully arguing that he had been rehabilitated after spending nearly 30 years in prison, a judge ruled earlier this week. This was June 24th, 2023. Okay. Jason Benjamin Simons, 45, was 16 when he viciously attacked and red-rummed 5-year-old Nicole Van Noty in 1994. The victim was a playmate of his younger stepsister, who Simons lured into the basement of an abandoned building owned by his father. Once in the basement, Simons essayed the victim and struck her numerous times with the blunt edge of a hatchet, with a wooden doll wrapped with wire and with a metal rod. He then placed her in a black garbage bag and buried her behind the abandoned house. The following day, the defendant allegedly incriminated himself to a friend, and after agreeing to be interviewed by the police, defendant confessed that he had red-rummed the victim. He was sentenced and convicted to life in prison in 1995. Since then, in 2016, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that mandatory life sentences for children are not constitutional, can only be applied to children who are convicted of homicide, and even in such cases, a lifetime in prison is a disproportionate sentence for all but the rarest of children, those whose crimes reflect irreparable corruption. Every juvenile lifer sentenced before that high court ruling will be given the opportunity to bid for resentencing due to developmental differences in the brains of still growing adolescents. A psychologist testified on Simon's behalf during his multiple-day resentencing hearing this week, saying that the defendant had truly been rehabilitated and deserved a second chance. Dr. Matthew Mendel testified that he spent 12 hours with Simons over 2 days. In prison, gosh, I don't even want to say it all, but he documented his history of SA, racism, emotional neglect. Simons worked through that trauma over 29 years. He will never forgive himself for what he did to the little girl. He knows what he did. He knows nothing will make up for the loss, but I just want to say I'm sorry. What Jason has accomplished, especially given where he comes from, is extraordinary. If he is not rehabilitated, no one is. But Nicole's mom said justice won't take away the pain I've suffered every day. She didn't get a second chance, and he shouldn't either. There are no 5-year-olds in prison, the attorney testified. How do you test that he's rehabilitated from rape, from R-ing and bedrumming 5-year-olds? He faced the possibility of being resentenced to a term of years with the possibility of parole. On Friday afternoon, the judge overseeing the case said Simons was entitled to a sentence of life without parole. And as the decision came down, the mother shook both of her fists in the air triumphantly and let out a cry of relief. Okay. But I did find something where, to my knowledge, let me check here. I think he is trying to appeal. And let's share this tab. Court of Appeals, State of Michigan. Yeah, make sure you guys could see it. The motion to extend time to file a appellant's brief is granted until January 31st, 2025. If he doesn't, file by then, an involuntary dismissal will be docketed without further notice. So he has just a few days left, guys, to file his appeal. What are your thoughts, right? Yeah, she's a beautiful little girl. Let's see. There weren't a lot of pictures. I did find this one, which was huge and was kind of cut off, but she had such a cute smile, right? Such a cute smile. But what are your I see your thoughts already, Jackie, right? Anyone who hurts a child should never get out of prison. I totally agree with that. I don't care what age they are, right? And the judge brought up a really good point, right? The judge said, how do you know he's rehabilitated? There's no 5-year-olds in prison. And how many times have we seen guys where people who are guilty of SA get out, and what do? They reoffend. So on behalf of our subscriber, I'm thankful. I am thankful, and I pray, let's all, put up our prayers that this man does not get an appeal, right? He should not get an appeal. I remember her saying in chat the other day that they're still fighting, and I'm glad she's still fighting. But you know what? Guys, how long should she have to fight? Right? How long should she have to fight? The victim should always come first, in my opinion. Right? And I'm not talking about someone who thinks they're a victim or any. I'm talking about real victims like Nicole Marie, like Sebastian, right? Like Michael Monkey, right? Like Summer Wells. Those are the real victims. Yeah. What he did was horrible. A hatchet and a dowel rod that had metal wrapped around it. It's horrific, guys. And it shouldn't happen to young babies. This mother lost her daughter. and he thinks he should be free? No. No. He shouldn't have made that choice. There are things that he can do if he's really rehabilitated. There are good things that he can do in prison. It's a known fact. He could start a Bible study. I mean, there are things that he can do. He can help other prisoners. There are things he can do if he's really rehabilitated, but he should not ever be able to get out of prison. And yes, I know we're paying for it, right? We are. But, that's where I think the death penalty comes in, but they won't ever use the death penalty against, you know, a child offender. Yeah, they get out and they reoffend. They reoffend. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I just wanted to talk about this because I wanted to, hopefully if she watches the um rewatches the video once we're done here, that she understands that we care about her. We're for her. I hated even going over what he did, but I think that, you know, since none of us really knew what happened to Nicole, that we had to talk about it, right? And um I my heart breaks for her, you know. When we were just getting off the live the other night and I said, I will check into that. And I got off our live that night and she had put Jason Simon's name in the chat and I said, I went right there. I Googled him, right? I wanted to know what she was talking about because I could tell she had been hurting from a number of things that she had said in chat to us, you know. And I never want someone to feel as though I'm ignoring their pain, right? I want everyone to feel they have a safe place to talk about whatever's bothering them in here, right? That's what we are. We're a safe place, guys. Um, there's no drama here, right? We're just a safe place to talk about some of these things that happen. I agree. How can some dude in a suit examine him for 2 hours and say he's good to go? Right? They can't. You can't. You can't possibly know. You know, if it'd be a whole different thing if you were his counselor from the time that he was 16 when he did the crime until now, and you saw him every week throughout all these years. Then I might say he he might know what he's talking about, but I still wouldn't say that um he should be released. I would not, right? And it's the same thing for Michael Vaughn's perpetrators, right? If they harmed him, you know, they need to go to jail. And it's not even just children, guys. Many of you know I've been talking about the Dan Markel case. And look how many people are involved in that case. The case that keeps on giving, according to Granny. There's 4 people convicted and another trial coming up for the 5th person, and they probably aren't done. You know, the 4 people that are convicted have all gotten life sentences without parole. Right? It took a man's life. So whether it's a child, I don't know. I somehow, and I think you guys can agree with me, somehow when it's a child, it just makes it not every life is important, right? But somehow when it's a child, it just seems more brutal, right? There are plenty of people who have had his bad experiences as a child but never hurt others. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, does it help? Maybe he didn't know right from wrong. Oh, that could very well be, but they don't hurt other people, right? Um, they make that choice. They make that choice. When we were talking, I don't know how long it's been, a few days ago now, that we talked about psychopaths and sociopaths and um, how their brains are chemically different. I don't get into all that stuff. I'll be upfront with you guys about that. Um, I absolutely hate labels, right? I really do. Because I think they're used too loosely. But I will say this. I do believe, because it's been proven, that their brains, the chemical disposition of their brains is different. But I still believe that there are other people out there who have the same maybe chemical disposition that have not ended up breadrumming somebody, right? I don't believe they all make that determination to do that. So it's a choice that they make. It's definitely a choice that they make. And I feel bad. I feel bad for the families of these victims who have to live with this. That doggone law in 2016, put this woman through something she should have never had to worry about or go through. Fighting to keep her child's red rummer in prison, right? She should never have had to do that. And it makes her relive it all over again. No wonder why she's hurting. And now he's trying to appeal. That happened in 2023 where June of 2023, where the judge said, no, I resentence you to life. You're not getting out. Life without the possibility of parole. So he tries to appeal, and you're very welcome, Robin. I didn't want to say any names, but I wanted you to know I did look into it for you. And my heart breaks. My heart breaks for you. And if you ever want the opportunity to come up and talk about it, we're all here for you. If you want to do that, we can make that happen for you, Robin. Yeah. So, guys, I know I didn't say her name. Obviously, now you know that it was Robin's little girl that this happened to, and Robin's the one that's been fighting. And Robin, I have so much respect for you. So much. Have you heard anything about his appeal, Robin? Has he filed it, or you don't haven't heard anything yet? I know. Well, the judge in 2023 said no, right? I'm glad about that for you. I almost could see you pumping your fists in the air, honestly, when um, the article said that that's what you did. And if you have the ability sometime, if you could get us um, a good picture of Nicole, I'll put up my email. The only one that I have of your baby girl um, is this one, which is adorable. It's got a beautiful smile, Robin. Supposed to be heard on January 31st. Gotcha. Well, we're all going to lift him up in prayer that he does not get his appeal. You shouldn't have to keep fighting this. It's ridiculous. It's horrible. I'm sorry that you've had to. Not only did you have to lose your girl, your little baby, in such a precious or a horrendous way, but then to have to fight to keep that man in prison is unbelievable. I'm sorry that's happened to you. You've got a safe place here, Robin. No drama here. I didn't share this for any kind of drama. I shared it because you asked me to look into it, and I promised you I would, and I did. I keep my promises. And I found it a horrendous thing that has happened to you, and I felt I needed to share what one of our own is going through, right? So the offer is always open. If you feel the need to talk and you want to come up on panel to do that, um, we can make that happen for you. Just email me, okay? And we can we can work that out if you want to do that. Good. I'm glad. Ginger brings up a good point. Do you have any kind of petition we can share to support you in court? We'd be happy to do whatever we can. If there's anything that we can do for you, we're behind you 100%. Oh, okay. Hmm. So, Robin, if he's granted an appeal, does he have to go through a trial all over again? And you're welcome, by the way. It got changed. Hello, hello. I mean, how does the appeals process work in Michigan? I don't know. I guess it's something I could look into, huh? I could research and find out what's. This is his second life term, no trials. Gotcha. Wow. I agree with you, Ginger. Some laws need to be changed, right? Definitely. That's awful. So if he appeals, then the judge has to determine if his second life term is going to stand. Is that what I'm understanding? So they'll just reverse it and let him go? Look up the Miller hearing. He's still under it, and he's 46 years old. Yeah, I saw that he's 46 years old. Um, let's see. And I had that picture of him from court. That one and that one, right? He can appeal as many times as he wants to. Okay, let me see what the thing is. Each time that POS appeals, the family gets notified through the victim's witness program. It's like reopening the wound every time. Oh my gosh. And they can appeal as many times as they want. Oh man. That's horrible, Robin. That's horrible. So, you know what? That tells me right there that he is not rehabilitated, because if he were, he would not put you through this. If he was really sorry for what he did, he would not put you through this every single time, Robin. He would not do it if he had any ounce of remorse. Yes, I agree with Ginger. This is not good for victims of crime, and that's not justice. The victim should always come first, and with that, the victim's family. Oh, that angers me. I'm sorry. I understand. Now I understand why you have talked about this, and ah, this attorney will be having a briefing in front of many appellate judges. Oh, Robin. Yeah. And we're paying for the stupid attorney that he's got. It's bad enough we have, we'll pay for him for life in prison until he's gone, right? We'll do that because that's where he deserves to stay. But having to pay for a stupid attorney for him, no, that irritates me. Oh, is there a timeline? Does he have to wait a certain amount of time before he can appeal if his appeal is denied? Right. Yeah, you're not allowed to be there. I get that. But it'll be on YouTube. Oh, goodness. It's horrible. Well, you are in my daily prayers, Robin. Honestly. Oh, you bring up a really good point, Ginger. How can anyone heal from trauma when the justice system keeps re-traumatizing the victims? That that is an excellent point. And that's what you've got to feel like, Robin. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. New attorney tried to argue with the judge and she said, no, I'm sending him to another life term. Good. Will this same judge be? Yeah. You you can't, because every time you start to maybe feel a little bit of healing taking place, it's the wound is ripped open again by the court system. How can you ever heal? I mean, how can you ever heal, Robin? It's, you know, the wound just keeps getting ripped open. I'm so sorry. That's awful. You shouldn't have to go through this. When the person who unalived my best friend finally passed away after 10 years in prison, I felt a sense of relief strictly because I knew I wasn't going to get any more notifications of appeal. Yeah, I can imagine, Jackie. And I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it out loud. It's not like you want to wish harm on somebody, but right? I mean, that's the only time you're ever going to get a sense of relief. And the problem is that um, he's younger than you, right, Robin? I'm going to say because your daughter was 5 years old and he was 16 when it happened. So, oh man, just I cannot. You know, it's so hard when you think about these little ones having to go through this kind of thing. And then the family, right? When you look at Brandy Vaughn, she needs a new liver, right? Oh, Nicole's your daughter and your only daughter. Yeah. Oh man. But when you look at Brandy, I mean, and it's not good. So you're right around my age, Robin. Yeah. You're a little younger than me. um yeah. No sense of relief, no sense of yeah. There's so much going through my mind right now that it just I knew when I decided to talk about this case tonight because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with Sebastian's case that it was going to be difficult, right? Because I was hoping you would come in, Robin, so that I could tell you how horrible I feel for you, and how you have my love and prayers and good thoughts coming your way constantly ever since I looked this up the other night when you told me to. And but yes, I feel anger as well. I'm angry at the court system and at this Jason Simons, right? Yeah. I don't believe he'll get out, but there's always that one person that could say yes. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, Ginger. Or Robin, anytime you need to come in and vent a little and you want to feel some love, you come on into our chat because we're all here for you. Well, there's nothing I know, and that's the hardest thing. No. Yeah. That's the hardest thing, Robin, that a parent can say is there's nothing I can do, right? Because as parents, we want to protect and help, right? And there, you'll fight and you'll do whatever you have to do, but that's the hardest thing to have to say is there's nothing I can do. And it eats you to your very core, right? But there is one thing, and that's prayer. You can always pray. Can you forgive? Well, you know what? Just just tell the good Lord you can't forgive. And, someday you'll feel it without you'll never forget, but the feeling will come. But I'm serious. Anytime you need us, we're here for you. We are. Yes, they do, Ginger. They really do. I'm going to have to look into that more because maybe it's something. Yeah, she is doing great, And Robin, I'll say this from everything I saw with Jason and with your daughter's case. That's what I'm going to say, Nicole. I'm not even going to bring up his name. With your daughter's case, you were out there fighting, and Brandy's out there fighting, right? And we got Seth out there fighting. You are an example of a mother who fought hard. An awesome example. And Brandy is an awesome example. It's too bad we don't have that in Sebastian's case, but we do have a father who is fighting hard, right? We've got a father who's fighting hard in that case. And poor Summer Wells. What about her, guys? For her, I guess it's those of us who think about her, right? It's horrible. Yeah, in 1994. Yeah, yeah, that's awful. And so, how did he get put under that? Because he was convicted in 1995, right? I mean, that's what I thought. Oh, the court hearing for your daughter? I agree, Robin. But here's the thing. She's not like you, Robin. She's not like Brandy. Yeah, we all need to know more about this Miller hearing, right? Summer and Monkey could be siblings, except that one had parents and the other one who cared and the other one doesn't. It came up. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Does it help you to um advocate for other missing children? Is that why? Because I've seen you with the Sebastian Rogers case, right? I can see that you care. And so that's why I asked, does it help you to advocate for other missing children because of what happened with you? I'm looking up the Miller hearings. Oh, this is in Michigan. All right, let's share it and look at it together, guys. I don't know. This is crazy. It says Michigan Miller hearings process and sentencing impact. Michigan Miller hearings play a crucial role in determining appropriate sentencing for juvenile offenders facing life imprisonment without parole. These hearings stem from the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Miller versus Alabama, which recognized the need to consider the unique circumstances of youth before imposing such severe penalties. Understand how these hearings function within Michigan is essential as they significantly impact both legal outcomes and the lives of affected juveniles. The purpose of a Miller hearing in Michigan is to ensure that sentencing of juvenile offenders considers their developmental status and potential for rehabilitation. This hearing is rooted in the landmark. We already said that. The decision emphasized considering factors such as the offender's age, family environment, and the circumstances of the offense, recognizing that juveniles are different from adults in terms of culpability and capacity for change. What a bunch of garbage. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's saying that Michigan complied laws, and they gave the numbers, outline procedures for conducting these hearings, mandating that courts evaluate specific criteria before imposing life without parole on a juvenile. These criteria include the juvenile's background, the nature of the crime, and the possibility of rehabilitation. The hearing provides a platform for presenting evidence and expert testimony, allowing the court to make an informed decision that reflects the individual circumstances of each case. Miller hearings embody a shift towards a more rehabilitative approach in the juvenile justice system. By requiring courts to consider the unique characteristics of youth, these hearings aim to balance accountability with the potential for growth and change. This approach aligns with broader trends in juvenile justice reform, which advocate for sentencing practices that recognize the developmental difference between juveniles and adults. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about that. If a juvenile both blonde hair and blue eyes, I see what you're saying. If a juvenile um, commits a crime and say it's a felony, like, I don't know, selling drugs, um, assault and battery, something like that, I can then see, I don't know, it's talking about life in prison though, isn't it? I don't know. United States Supreme Court case in which the court held that mandatory sentences of life without the possibility of parole are unconstitutional. Oh. Which had ruled juvenile life without parole sentences unconstitutional for crimes excluding murder. Yeah. Hmm. Miller versus Alabama, huh? Um, I don't know. It says in navigating a Miller hearing, defendants in Michigan are afforded specific legal rights and considerations pivotal to ensuring a fair process. Yeah. I don't know. I think that red rumming someone does not give you the right to have your sentence reversed. Maybe he doesn't qualify because he committed. Yeah, I agree. And maybe that's why the judge keeps throwing it out. I know. Um, know who would be really good at that would be Peter Tragos, the lawyer, you know. He's so good at breaking that stuff down in a way that we can understand it. It was all premeditated. Yeah. 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 I read that. I read he tried to say that it wasn't, but why did he lure her down there then? You know, he lured her to where he lured her in that abandoned building. So I don't know. You know, there's so much wrong with our justice system. The wheels of justice, they move too slow. Yeah. How old would she be today, Robin? She'd be 36, is that right? Horrible. Think of, you know, I mean, she'd be 36 right now, Robin. You missed so much time with her, right? That's awful. 36 January 9th. Yeah. So you just went through a birthday without her. I can't even imagine what you go through every day. I can't even imagine it. So this was in 2012. Let me. I have an ad blocker, so it doesn't like me. Okay, I will share this, but I think Supreme Court on Monday limited the use of life terms in prison for red drummers under 18, ruling that judges must consider the defendant's use and nature of the crime before putting him behind bars with no hope for parole. Yeah. Yep. Oh, gosh. I understand what they're saying, but here's the other thing. I'm going to share this. You guys remember this? The Oxford High School person? What does that say right there? Ethan Crumley for a Miller hearing, right? The Miller hearing is a pre-sentencing hearing and comes after the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012 decided in Miller versus Alabama that mandatory life sentences without parole for people under the age of 18 violate the Eighth Amendment. So, but here's my thing. I'm sorry. When someone brutally red rums somebody like they did Robin's daughter, and when they're right here, when they are a mass, I don't think that should, I think that those cases should not apply to that. That's my opinion. I agree. It's like Ethan Crumbley, same thing. Any school red rummer, right? I agree, Jackie O. I don't care. He was still old enough to know right from wrong. He made a choice. And Robin, your daughter should never have had to go through what she went through. A precious 5-year-old baby, guys, should never have had to go through that. And, and I feel the same way about mass school red rummers. Exactly. The victims are lost in all of this. Without their brave parents, they would have no voice at all. But then what kind of life do these brave parents like Robin have, guys? What kind of life do they have? What kind of life are they subjected to when they cannot heal because these appeals can happen anytime they want and the wound is constantly opened up again? That's so wrong. There's so much wrong in our justice system. So much. The wheels of justice move too slowly. We know that there's corrupt people in our justice system. I know that there's also a lot of good in our justice system. I have a son-in-law who was a retired um, detective. He did it all, guys. Um, exactly, Jackie O. The torture and constant reminders of appeals. Constant reminders. Oh, Robin, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness. I'm not going to close out yet, but it's kind of weird how this worked out, but I do want to just share this. Like I said, we're not closing out yet, but Maria Julia Hernandez said that victims should always come first. And I put that pink heart for Nicole because I know she was wearing a pink dress and pink socks that day, right, Robin? Victims should always come first. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. I can only imagine that. You know how old she was, Robin, the girlfriend? That's awful. It was hard to find anything from back in 1994. I was looking, and I was lucky enough to find the one article, but I couldn't find the second page to it. But yeah, it's awful. Oh, goodness. You heard a couple years ago he wanted with your daughter? It's so sad. Oh, goodness. Well, it just shows, guys, that we really do need to keep not only the victims, but the victims' families in our constant prayers because we don't know. I mean, Robin, you've been in here for quite a while, in and out, right? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 5 years old and he wanted to do that. Sad. But how important it is to keep these people in our prayers and our thoughts, and no matter how hard of a day we may be having, that there's someone out there that's having a worse day than we are, right? There's someone out there who no longer has their child with them. Child was brutally taken from them, and we need to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Um, I can't. Ah, mentally, there was nothing wrong with him at all. Well, I don't know. I do think that there is something wrong with someone who makes that kind of a choice. Now, do I think that they should, because not everybody thinks that way. You know what I'm saying, Robin? Not everybody makes that kind of choice. Not everybody wants to do what he did. So, but I mean, should that have gotten him off? No. You know what I'm saying? It should not have. Right, Ginger. Yeah. Um, he should not have that. I hate it when people use mental illness as a way to get out of their crime. That irritates me, right? However, I will say I don't think he was normal, because I don't think it's normal to want to hurt a little 5-year-old baby the way that he did. That's not normal, right? So I think there was something a little mentally wrong with him, but it, I'm glad that they didn't use it to get him off. Oh, well, that can have something to do with it. Watching demonic movies. Yeah. So you talked to his dad, right? And I imagine his family suffered too for what he did, right? You know, when something like that happens, it has long-reaching consequences, guys. I mean, look at us sitting here tonight trying to make sense of it all, right? We're all going the same place, Jackie. Oh, we all are, aren't we? Ginger, Brenda, Joe. I know you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. It, it's something else, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I knew that. Um, because it Jason's stepsister was your daughter's best friend, right? And I knew they lived across the street, and that's she would go over there to play, right? I had read that. So sad. And Robin, you moved from Michigan, right? Do you live in Florida now? Every day. Yeah. Yep. And that poor little girl. I mean, I don't even know what her name was, but that poor little girl. Nicole was her best friend, and her stepbrother takes her life. When you look at all the dynamics in a case like that, right? She had a best friend. She had a mom who loved her so much. I, that family, his family, it's awful. Check with you every 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. Well, Robin, you did nothing wrong. How could you have known anything was going to happen? Oh, man. That's awful. Like there's a lot of drugs involved in that area, huh? Oh, goodness. Well, guys, no worries, Jackie O. I understand totally what you're feeling. Right? Exactly. That's why I said, Robin, you always have a place to come to if you just feel like you need a little love, some prayer, some people who understand. Jason was like another big brother to her. And look what he did to her. Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine the anger, Robin. We're angry right along with you because we're just finding out about this now, right? But and knowing that you have to, I know that there's nothing you can do about these appeals processes other than to make your feelings known, right? Yeah, but he got caught. Man. Yes. We are with you, Robin, 100% of the way. Um, like I said, you always have a place here. Um, ever you need to come in and just type in chat and say, "Hey guys, I need ya," and we're there for you. Okay. Um, we are going to call it a night for tonight. Um, and I know that I've not done this in a live, but if you don't mind, guys, I would just like to say a quick prayer for Robin. I hope you guys don't mind, but Heavenly Father, we just come before you today. We ask you, Lord Jesus, to comfort, wrap your loving arms around Robin. Lord, we know that your hand is in all of this, that you see everything that's happened. We know that you prevented Jason from being released, Lord Jesus. And I ask, Lord, that this would stop so that Robin would be able to finally heal, you know, and however many days that she has left on this earth, Lord, which I hope are many, God. And I pray, Lord Jesus, that you will just comfort her, give her your strength that she needs right now, and let her know that she has friends with her, Lord. I ask all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Thank you, guys. Well, Robin, you're in our hearts, you're in our thoughts, and in our prayers. Okay? I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank everybody that'll watch on the replay. And I ask everybody to keep Robin in her thoughts and prayers. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.